Hello and welcome of course to another car review in GT7, and this one, although less of an obvious choice because it's not a flashy, latest and greatest kind of machine, is of course a returning face. And this is one of the cars which of course I've got to talk about because many of us who played Gran Turismo 6 or maybe even Gran Turismo 5 will remember cars like this that have come back to the franchise rather than making their debut. And this was a car which of course I predicted, one of 60 vehicles or so that I predicted would come back in Gran Turismo 7's future, and it has of course as a day one vehicle in GT7 the Maserati based Alfa Romeo 8C Competizione, I believe as they call it, or just the 8C as most of us tend to. Now for those who are new to the channel, I did a fictional build based on this car which was received very well, which I'm glad about. An 8C GTA, if you will, which is kind of a what-if build of if Alfa Romeo had done a Scuderia style machine or a Superleggera style machine based on this. But even in its stock form, the 8C is already a fantastic car. Hands down in GT7, it is one of the loveliest cars to work with. Now, you can win this car, so you don't even have to fork out the 300 grand. In fact, 350 if you buy it from the dealer new, closer to 300 if you buy it from the used dealer required. That's quite a lot of money, and it's a lot more expensive than many of its rivals, which funnily enough is accurate to real life because nowadays 8Cs are super expensive used, but you can win it, as I said, from the cafe progression in the Alfa Romeo collector section, so I would recommend not buying it if you are still early on in the game, because you can just unlock it. Once you do unlock it, as I alluded to, it's a gorgeous little car to work with. Of course, it's literally gorgeous, but it's also such a pleasant, forgiving, but also really capable car. It's not easy to drive because it's not very quick, or easy to drive because it's not very powerful. It is quick and it is powerful, but it's still lovely. It drifts like a champ, even stock, and the handling is just so naturally leaning toward a high performance or replica race car kind of tune that it's literally begging for it. Now, in terms of the specs which you can expect from this car in the game, the performance points, at least stock, are not too crazy. It's 555.7 to be exact. In terms of power, it's 442 stock, again pretty healthy. The weight is a little bit higher than you might expect, close to 1600 kilos, 1585, and of course being a front engine, rear-wheel drive car, as I mentioned before, naturally good for drifting, and is of course naturally aspirated as well. So this is one of those cars that's so easy to review that it can basically just become boring if you talk about it for too long, which is exactly what I don't want to do in this video. So the long and the short of it is, if you haven't progressed through the cafe menu, do so, because it's a lovely car to get, and if you've already passed that point and maybe got rid of yours, well, I guess maybe you didn't like it as much as I do, but it just seems like the kind of car that's worth having. For those, say, moderate level points, around 555 stock, you could, for example, tune it up to 600. There are tons of events where 600 is a great level to work with, and this already has great acceleration, great handling in particular. It's not overly large, but it's not so small that it's twitchy. It's just one of those cars that's really nicely balanced within the game. So overall, it's going to be a fairly short review because it's a returning face, not a new one. It's a car that's just good in pretty much every way, so go out and grab one. Ultimately, if you want to check out that build, which I did though, it can take it from being a very pleasant, lovely little supercar into what could have been a more hardcore track day variant with more power, less weight, and a focus on really taking on those other track day focus machines of the mid to late 2000s. So if you want to check out that tune, of course you can find it here on the channel, and of course if you want to check out more reviews, you can click the playlist here on screen for that as well. But until next time, I'll see you then, and for now, as always, thanks for watching.